Hey guys, Danny here with Danny Murphy and Associates at First Team Real Estate, doing our little weekly real estate market update. Hope everyone's having a great summer and enjoying, maybe not the dog days of summer. It's been perfect here in Southern California. So if you happen to be here in Southern California, I'm sure you're enjoying it. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that we have national elections coming up in under 100 days. And we're getting a lot of questions we get some questions from buyers and sellers like, hey, is it a good time or a bad time to buy or sell? And definitely people have their opinions on that. And so what we thought we'd do is give you some of the facts actually about whether it's a good time to buy or sell. And so, at the end of the day, and so I'm gonna read some notes here, but typically sales volume tends to drop a little bit before an election. Some of that's just because it's the natural cycles. Like we have a busy spring and summer, the elections are in November, so we start to see things kind of tailor off because of that. So you would expect volume to tend to drop off a little bit. But home sales and volume and prices have gone up in 9 of the last 11 presidential election cycles. So 9 out of the last 11 prices and volume have gone up after the election, except for 1981. That was due to super high interest rates that were in the high teens. And then in 1999 because of the dot-com bust. So people were thinking the world was going to end in the year 2000. So 9 out of the last 11. Home prices went up 7 of the last 8 presidential elections. So leading up to, but certainly after those elections, 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections, home prices went up nationally, and definitely here in Orange County and Southern California as well. The only time they went down was in 2009, and that was for obvious reasons. That was the Great Recession. We had a financial crisis, so prices were going down. Mortgage rates have decreased leading up to and shortly after 8 out of the last 11 presidential elections. So mortgage rates, and they're already starting to go down. The 10-year note's below 4% today for the first time in like 9 months. We're seeing mortgage rates come down over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The Fed is finally starting to talk about the fact that they think inflation is largely under control. We're seeing a lot of financial markers that would indicate that inflation is under control. We're not at the 2% target yet, but we're definitely heading that way. We're seeing things slow down in the economy, not in a way where we're concerned a lot about recession, but just in a way that the Fed, I think, can start to make rate cuts. And so we'll probably see at least one rate cut this year, but mortgage rates have already started to come down. And so 8 out of the last 11 presidential cycles, we saw mortgage rates decrease leading up to and shortly after the elections. The only exceptions were 1980 when inflation was on fire still. 1992 was basically a flat after the election, so it really didn't change much. In 2016, they didn't go down because they were already really low. They were in the low 3s. So in general, my answer is, look, whether there's a Republican or a Democrat in the office, people need a place to live. Your kids need a roof over their heads. We all need a place to raise our families. So real estate and transacting, all that still takes place. No matter who's in office, no matter what happens with the elections, I think we'll have a peaceful transfer of power, and things might be a little shaky there for a minute or two. But in general, look, people want to live in a home, they want to own a home, and then in places like Southern California where it's a great place to have real estate, it's always a good thing to invest in. So reach out to us anytime for any of your questions that are related to real estate. We're here to help, and we appreciate you. Thanks.